Hey everyone, it's Mr. Hollywood, and today I am doing the top 5 best catchers of all time. Now before I give you my picks, feel free to share your picks for best catchers of all time down below in the comments, and let's just get right in. Number 5, and this was really tough actually, just narrowing it down to top 5, because I had at least 10 catchers in mind. But then I kind of did some more research and it was actually a really hard cutoff. Anyways, number 5, Carlton Fisk. Someone who was a very good hitting catcher, definitely one of the best offensive catchers, and simply put, he was just a great catcher overall. He had over 300 career home runs. His batting average is a little bit on the lower side, but because it is the catcher position, I'm not as critical on their batting average, because if they get over 260, that is actually pretty good for a catcher, considering catchers have the hardest time hitting for average as opposed to a first baseman or an outfielder. But yeah, simply put, Carlton Fisk was a great catcher, and he's the number 5 of all time. Number 4, Yogi Bear. Easily probably one of the most iconic catchers of all time. He won 10 World Series rings, which I believe is the most of all time. But yeah, simply put, Yogi Bear was an absolute beast on the field. Definitely one of the best offensive catchers, just like Carlton Fisk, except for he hit for an even higher average. He also ended up with over 300 career home runs. And yeah, Yogi Bear, he was just an amazing player, and he is the 4th best of all time. Now, top 3 was actually really tough to decide the order. But with number 3, I ended up going with Pudge Rodriguez, Yvonne. He was just an absolute menace on the field. In terms of, he was just an amazing catcher, an amazing defender, an amazing hitter. Did it in arguably the hardest era, though in my opinion he wasn't even the best hitting catcher of that era. And with defense, he's either number 1 or he's top 3 defender of all time, along with my number 2, and someone who just missed the cut, which I'll just say this: Yadier Molina, who just missed the cut. I almost had him in the top 5 because he was just another level of defensive catcher. But yeah, Pudge, he was just an amazing defender, and you can argue he might be the best complete catcher, along with the number 2. And that brings me to number 2, Johnny Bench. Along with Pudge Rodriguez, you could argue he was the most complete, considering that he hit for power and he had a great glove. Now, his average technically isn't as high as Pudge, but I do think that he was a better power hitter than Pudge and did it in way shorter time period. Pudge technically did have the better counting stats because he did have way more hits and his batting average was better. But because Johnny Bench was a way better power hitter, and they were both pretty equal when it comes to how great their glove was, it was a tough decision, but I ended up giving Johnny Bench a slight edge. But number 1, someone who, if it was defense, they definitely wouldn't be there, but I think they are by far the best offensive catcher of all time, Mike Piazza. And this is a bit of a controversial pick, because definitely his glove was not the greatest. But because he was hitting in ways that no catcher was doing, hitting over 300, I believe he won 10 consecutive Silver Sluggers. He was just an absolute god of a hitter as a catcher, and he reached almost 500 home runs as a catcher in a relatively short time period. But yeah, simply put, Mike Piazza in my opinion, the greatest catcher of all time. I could argue that Johnny Bench and Pudge might be more complete overall in terms of like a 5-tool player. But because of just Mike Piazza's offensive numbers alone, I did give him the edge. And I do have Mike Piazza, in my opinion, as the best catcher of all time. Now, thanks for watching. Feel free to share your picks on the best catcher of all time. And I cannot wait to continue with this series. I've had a lot of fun doing these rankings. Now, thanks for watching, and peace out.